I recently came across this article about Russell Kirk, the conservative writer who was asked what his secret to a long life was, to which he replied, "I take life steadily and seriously, and never thought it was urgent." And then he was asked, "What's your secret for writing such prolific books?" To which he said, "I work steadily and seriously, but I never thought it was urgent." He added, "There's no need to be in a hurry." In today's episode of The Mind of the Gods, we're going to unravel the Stoic narrative that urgency is the killer of all things. And I hope by the end of this episode you learn how to take your life a little less urgently. Let's begin. Epictetus says, "It's not things that upset us. It's our opinions about those things." So let me ask you something. Why do we feel so much stress in our lives? Why does time seem to be slipping through our fingers? And why do we feel so anxious? Well, in reality, there's nothing wrong with the way time is passing or the way our lives are unfolding. We don't have to feel stressed, anxious, or overwhelmed, because these are our opinions about what's happening. And if we can change our opinions, we can change how we feel. So when we think about our life, we often get caught up in our own story. We make ourselves the center of the universe, and we think the sun revolves around us. When we do this, it's easy to fall into the trap of feeling like everything is happening for us or everything is against us. But the Stoics would remind us that we are just a small part of the grand scheme of things. We are just a blip in the vastness of time and space. So when we zoom out and put ourselves in perspective, we realize that our problems are not nearly as big as we think they are. When we zoom in on our lives, it's easy to feel like our problems are all-consuming. But when we zoom out, we see that we are just a tiny part of the universe, and our problems become much more manageable. This doesn't mean we should ignore or avoid our problems. It means we should put them in perspective. When we do this, we free ourselves from the anxiety and stress that come from feeling like our problems are too big for us to handle. Instead, we can approach them with a sense of calm and clarity. So now let's unravel the Stoic narrative of urgency being the killer of all things. If you remember, in previous episodes we've discussed Seneca's quote, "All our life is an accumulation of what we choose to emphasize and what we choose to ignore." In this light, urgency becomes one of the things we choose to emphasize. So when we allow urgency to become a constant presence in our lives, we lose focus on what really matters. We miss out on enjoying the present moment and instead spend our time and energy worrying about the future or dwelling on the past. The Stoics would argue that living with urgency makes us reactive instead of proactive. It makes us constantly stressed and unable to think clearly and rationally. But the solution is simple. We need to regain control over our thoughts and actions. Marcus Aurelius famously wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the action and does the very opposite." When someone provokes us, our natural reaction is to match their energy and act urgently to defend ourselves. But the Stoics tell us that this is not the best way to respond. Instead, we should act in a way that is the opposite of how the other person behaved. This means taking a step back and not reacting immediately. It means not stooping to their level and acting out of anger or resentment. Instead, we should respond with calmness and dignity. This doesn't mean we should passively accept mistreatment. It means we should address the situation in a clear and rational way without letting our emotions get the better of us. So another Stoic quote worth considering here is from Marcus Aurelius, who writes in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Urgency also steals our joy. When we are constantly rushing around, we don't have time to stop and appreciate the beauty of life. We don't have time to enjoy the things that make us happy. Instead, we are always focused on what we need to do next. We are always worried about what might go wrong. This is not the way to live according to the Stoics. They would say that we should find joy in the present moment, no matter what is happening around us. Marcus Aurelius writes, "When you rise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. When we wake up each morning, we have a new opportunity to experience life to the fullest. We have a chance to be grateful for the gift of life and to appreciate all the good things in our lives. Don't waste this opportunity by starting the day in a state of urgency. Instead, take a few moments to yourself and reflect on how lucky you are to be alive." Another thing urgency does is that it prevents us from learning. When we are in a hurry, we don't have time to reflect and learn from our mistakes. We don't have time to listen to others and learn from their wisdom. Instead, we are always trying to do things faster and better. This is not the way to live according to the Stoics. They would say that we should be open to learning from everyone and everything. We should be willing to reflect on our mistakes and learn from them. This is the only way we can grow and improve as human beings. Marcus Aurelius writes, "You can learn many things from a setback. You can learn to be more resilient, more adaptable, and more resourceful. Setbacks are an inevitable part of life. Instead of seeing them as a negative, we can choose to see them as a valuable opportunity to grow and learn. When we do this, we become more resilient and better equipped to handle whatever life throws at us." Urgency also steals our relationships. When we are constantly busy and preoccupied with ourselves, we don't have time for others. We don't have time to listen to them or understand their point of view. Instead, we are always trying to get them to do things our way. This is not the way to build strong relationships, according to the Stoics. They would say that we should value our relationships and nurture them. We should be there for our loved ones and support them. We should be willing to compromise and understand their point of view. This is the only way we can build strong and lasting relationships. Marcus Aurelius writes, "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts." When we think about our relationships in a positive and constructive way, we are more likely to experience happiness in our lives. When we focus on the good qualities of our relationships and the people in them, we create a positive feedback loop that strengthens our bonds and brings us closer together. Overall, urgency is not something to strive for. It's something to avoid. When we are in a state of urgency, we are not in control of our lives. Instead, we are reacting to external events. We are letting our emotions dictate our actions. This is not the way to live, according to the Stoics. They would say that we should be in control of our lives. We should be able to pause and think before we act. We should be able to stay calm in the face of adversity. This is the only way we can live a life that is in accordance with nature. It is also the only way we can achieve inner peace and happiness. So, my friends, I want you to take a moment to think about your own life. Are you living with urgency? Are you letting external events control your life? Or are you in control of your life? Are you able to stay calm and centered no matter what is happening around you? If not, don't worry. It's time to make a change. It's time to start living a life that is in accordance with nature. It's time to start living a stoic life. Take life steadily and seriously, but never think it's urgent. Remember, there's no need to be in a hurry.